Hey, y'all, I'm Ebony K. Williams here, host and attorney extraordinaire. Welcome to Holding Court, where we analyze the very latest in legal headlines, the ones that got all the streets talking. You know what we do? We dig deep into how the courts impact the culture. We break it down, going straight from gavel to your news feed. And every week, we keep it 100. Right, Dustin Ross?
That's right.
Dustin Ross, my love, how are you?
I'm feeling wonderful because we're back on Holding Court. You know, it's been time. We have so much to talk about. This is where we need to be right now.
Could it be more timely? Could it be?
It could not be. It could not be. It's that time.
And listen,
that's right.
If I'm sure our jurors have figured out, we are dropping just a couple days later on this episode, but what a time to have a late week record.
Yeah, it was actually, it felt divine, right?
This news cycle, baby. So we're going to go into the going-ons of the A$AP Rocky acquittal, okay?
Yes.
Quit. So they must have acquit.
That's right.
And then, because I text our extraordinary producer, Ashley Hobbs, was like, oh, you know, this kind of worked out. We'll be able to get into this acquittal for our jurors. And then the puff of it all. My goodness.
I
Sean
know
Diddy
it.
Combs and his, what'd you say, Dustin?
I know. It's just this is literally the song that doesn't end. It goes on and on, my friend. It never stops.
Listen,
more charges, more shit. Here we go.
More charges, more shit, more arguments. So this one, jurors, this is, I have to say from a legal perspective, Dustin, it's intriguing to me. It's actually intriguing. Well, I had to take a little time with this one.
Okay, they got you back. They got you in your bag, huh? They made me push some glasses up. Okay,
had to pull them books off the shelf on this. No, like
that's
fucking
right.
for real. Yeah.
Yes.
So we're gonna get into this, y'all. But essentially, know this: top line, Puff's legal team is making an argument, a very, very provocative argument, Dustin. So the premise of one of the three charges, Dustin, which is known as the Mann Act, okay, which is essentially making it illegal to bring women or men, actually, across state lines for the purposes of illegal sex, okay? That's the purpose of the Mann Act. So Puff and his legal team are saying that that particular application of that charge, the Mann Act, against Sean Diddy Combs is racist, that it is only being used to prosecute him and really persecute him in their framing because he is a wealthy, successful black man in America. Oh, where have we heard this argument before? But we're going to get into it. It's so many layers here, Dustin.
Yes, it is.
Historical point, from a contemporary point. I will say from a legal standpoint, I'm fascinated. Now, just black woman walking in America, Negro, please, right?
Right. Right, of course.
But from the legal piece, it is worthy of exploration, and we're going to do that right here.
Interesting. My interest is peaked. Yes.
Listen, peak season, okay?
Okay.
And then, of course, we're going to wrap up jurors with a quick update on the Eric Adams of it all. My goodness, what
so
a docket.
Sick of him. I'm sorry. Anyway, yes,
what
a docket.
Oh, but you know why you don't have to be sorry? Why you don't have to be sorry? Because don't you pay taxes in this city?
I do pay taxes in this city, yes.
So Eric Adams actually works for you.
That's right.
Let's be clear.
You know, it's time to, that motherfucker got to answer. Let's talk about it. Let's get into this docket.
I'm sorry. All them got as much money as Dustin make, y'all. As much money as Dustin make. As much money as Dustin pay on these taxes, y'all.
It's time to, he got to answer, God damn it. That's right.
That's fucking for real. Yeah. Okay, now you got me peaked.
Fired up. That's right. We peaked up in here. This is the peak episode, God damn it. We up.
Thinking about my bill about to come. Okay.
Oh, it's that time, ain't it?
Listen, just got through emailing with the month. Okay. Okay, so let's go to the Diddy piece, because again, this is really fascinating. All right, so I laid out for y'all the Mann Act. You know, right now, Diddy will be going to trial in May, which actually is quickly coming upon us. Just if we just want to look at the perspective, we will actually be probably dealing with trial in short order. But in the meantime, there's three, right? Because it's basically March we're talking about. So here we are. Three basic major federal felonies that are what awaits him at this trial. And his team is right now, Dustin, as of this week, asking the court to dismiss one of the three charges against him, the one that is essentially known as the Mann Act. Again, this is a federal charge. This is a part of the RICO of it all, right? This is really talking about Sean Combs being the centerpiece of an organization, an organized method to have women and in some cases some men involved in crossing state lines for the purposes of illicit and illegal sex acts. Okay, so this includes kidnapping and forced coercion and all of these things. Now, here's what Puff's legal team is saying, y'all. Okay. Counsel for Sean Combs is saying that the Mann Act has never been used in this particular way, this RICO way, against a black man before. And this is only being used against Sean Combs because he is what? A powerful black man, a wealthy black man in America. And normally this type of conduct that he is being alleged to have goes unpunished. Now, I found that language interesting because I think that they could have used stronger verbiage there, but they chose not to because everybody on this legal team is making $1 million a minute. So ain't no mistakes, okay, as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
So instead of saying here, Dustin, Sean Combs is being singled out because he's a powerful black man and he is being prosecuted for conduct that he didn't commit, which is what they could have said. They didn't say that. They said it's for conduct that does what? Goes regularly.
Yeah. Okay. So in other words, it's not that it's not wrong, but don't nobody else get in trouble for it. So why is he? What a picture to paint, right?
How does that look? I'm just curious when you hear that, because you're an actual black man. Not that y'all all the same by any stretch, but does that land at all for you? What is that?
I recognize it to be true because that is a fact that, you know, black people are held to a higher legal standard than whites for the same exact crimes, same exact situations and circumstances. So while that is the case, I don't know the relevance here because there's so many other things going on. So for me as a novice, I'm not aware just yet because we haven't taken the dive yet. But I'm not aware of the legal complexities that will affect that. But it sounds to me on my naked legal ears like a weak argument. That's what it sounds like to me.
Heavy on naked. I just liked hearing you say the word. Yeah. Thank you for that though, Dustin, because I was curious. When I was reading the first glance, that really jarred me, to be honest. I thought that was a very
fluorescent, neon.
Yeah, it was just a very strong legal choice. A very strong legal choice, you know. Not that he conducted activity that was not wrong, like you said, or not problematic, or even that he's being accused of things he didn't do. This is not, this is what's important here, Jers. This is not, in this piece of it, is not a denial of the facts alleged. It's actually not. What it is, it's highlighting, as you say, Dustin, what they are perceiving and holding out as a legal double standard that is targeting him as a black man. And this is what I say by provocative. This is a choice. This is a choice. And I think it's a bet on garnering a level of empathy and anger, quite frankly. From black community members, black men specifically, that, you know, kind of not that dissimilar to what we saw as the OJ effect. Not necessarily that the Negro didn't do it, but we tired of y'all motherfuckers getting away with it, so give us one.
How does that really land in court, Ebony, when the legal counsel chooses not to argue whether or not the person committed the crime, but we're going to argue whether or not it's fair to prosecute it?
Listen.
How does that land usually?
Listen, Linda. A broken clock is right twice a day, Dustin. So while I would say it wouldn't necessarily be my go-to primary argument, because like you said, thin at best, weak at best, in the right political and social climate, and this might be the right political and social climate, just how the shit is lining up from the Trump to the DEI to the citizen birthright citizenship to the just all of it. Once I got into the document, I said, I see what they're doing here.
What they're doing, okay.
Okay, so let me go further. Ooh, this is getting good. Okay. So that's the first piece of their argument, that but for him being a successful black man, and we're going to get to the successful piece in a minute because this is drawing a historical parallel that's very intentional. Put a pin in Jack Johnson. Some of you know the reference already. Jack Johnson was the very first black man in America to be our heavyweight champion of the world. Won the title back in 1908. By the way, 1908 was a very good year. If it sounds familiar, it's the year that a divine queen named Ethelred Lyle founded. Okay, let me stop.
Pop it, Ebony. Pop it, Ebony.
You know I had to.
You had to.
But Jack Johnson becomes the first black man to be the heavyweight champion of the world. And of course, this is enormous for obvious reasons, but it's enormous, Dustin, specifically because for so many years, he was denied the right to even box a white boxer.
Participate, yeah.
Yeah. So this was just like, we kind of can't conceive of how enormous.
Unprecedented, yeah.
Yes. So he becomes the biggest star in America, honestly. He really does. In 1908. Jack Johnson, he's the man. He defends the title successfully over and over and over and over and over again. And as you imagine, this is remarkable.
Right.
But Jack Johnson decides, as is his choice, that it would be a good idea to start walking around the streets of America
with white women
and flashing his fur coats and his minks. Who does that sound like? And this is directly from a PBS article. This is very interesting. Jack Johnson enjoys showing off the riches of his boxing prowess and that have earned him. He enjoys a flamboyant lifestyle and has a penchant for flaunting his wealth and taunting opponents, as well as prominently displaying his relationships with white women, which infuriated white men across the country. So to your point. So Jack Johnson says, y'all gonna see this bling, y'all gonna see these furs, and you gonna see me with these white bitches. This is what Jack Johnson's saying. And so, very understandably, not at all right, but we can see where that would
lead.
Yeah. Correct. A very aggressive, absolutely racist backlash from the law. So they tried a few times, Dustin, to get Jack Johnson under the Mann Act. And by the way, worth noting
that it's called the Mann Act.
It's literally the MANN Act.
The man gonna hold you down. Yeah.
Right. Also known as the White Slavery Act. So the Mann Act predated Jack Johnson, obviously, which is how they were able to use it on him. But y'all catch this tea. It was specifically designed, remember I told y'all it was designed to make sure that women specifically were not being taken across state lines for the purposes of sex trafficking, basically.
Right.
And this was called the White Slave Act because this was the legal mechanism to protect white women. This is what's very important here. And stay with me, jurors, because when I fast forward to Puff in a second, this to me is where the argument starts to fall apart. But we're saying that the racist origins of the Mann Act and the White Slave Act, which is what it was known as historically, and that's the foundation for the racist roots of the law, which was all about protecting the sanctity, fragility, and purity of white womanhood.
Right.
And Jack Johnson, black man of his day and era, destroying that, right? And let it be also known, Jack Johnson ended up marrying 3 different white women, infuriating the culture at the time, right? Actually, probably would be infuriating the culture today, but I digress.
That's another episode. Yes.
Another episode upcoming. So this is what happens legally for Jack Johnson, y'all. They try to get, the Department of Justice. By the way, this is the same Department of Justice that you hear us talking about when we talk about the one prosecuting Sean Combs today.
Same one.
Same Department of Justice, right? We're talking about just tapped Eric Adams and said, you are Negro now. Don't worry about it until you get out of line, and then we're going to come circle the wagon for your ass. These are all so just history, y'all. This is all the same federal Department of Justice. Same one.
Wow.
Okay. So that Department of Justice, Dustin, back in 1913, they tried to comfort Jack Johnson with one particular white woman. Turns out this particular white woman, she doesn't cooperate. Her mama put the dime in on Jack Johnson and tried to get him caught up. It was her mother, Mrs. Cameron, Dustin, that tried to drop the dime on Jack Johnson. But his actual girlfriend, Lucille Cameron, says, nah, it didn't go down like that. She refuses to cooperate with prosecutors. So the DOJ has to let this one walk. Now, why did she choose not to cooperate? I want to be clear. We don't know that. Could it be because there was something, she's feeling duress or pressure? Maybe. Or it really could be, as he stated, this was his girlfriend. And then she does go on to marry him.
Right.
Just holding the space here, Dustin, because we do know that sometimes just because someone continues in a relationship with a man or even marries that man, that doesn't mean that something is not afoot.
True. Very true. Very
you know what
true.
I mean? I just want to,
true.
hold the space for that.
That's
doesn't
not a blanket statement for all. We're just speaking about this particular case. Yeah.
That's it. Okay. So with that said, that one doesn't fly. So the DOJ tries again because now, again, they are very mad at Jack Johnson. How dare you, A, be the heavyweight champion of the world, B, be wealthy. And that's like you said, Dustin, there is merit to those arguments. Wealthy, successful black men in America make a lot of people mad. They make a lot of white people mad. Nobody here is denying that. We know that to be true. Then in Jack Johnson's case, you want to have the audacity to walk around with multiple white, y'all would have to go Google the photos, and they do exist. Multiple white women on each arm, just walking around in broad daylight.
In 1908 and 1912.
When Ethel trying to get people to come to the community service project. My God.
Jack Johnson said, y'all can't beat me up, though. Okay,
listen,
he said, y'all going to have to take me to court because you can't beat me up.
Listen,
you don't want these gloves.
And didn't and won't. Okay, so they do finally get him, though. 1913, a white woman known as Belle Schreiber is her name. She was a known prostitute, by the way. So this is where pay attention to these facts. She was a known prostitute, always hopping state lines for work purposes, original work purposes. She did happen to be known as a former girlfriend. Anyways, who knows if she was paid or whatever, she ends up dropping the dime, cooperating with the DOJ.
Damn.
And ultimately, this is what gets him hemmed up. He is convicted and he's sentenced to like a year and a day or something like that. He actually appeals it. He jumps bond. He travels Mexico, different places, different countries for years. Eventually, he does come back to the States. He serves, 6 months, something like that, and lives out the rest of his days with exhibition fights. And, that's it. That's the end of the story. Except for 2018, who's president in America?
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump. Donald Trump actually gives him a posthumous pardon. Jack Johnson. Isn't this crazy, Dustin? Is this not insane?
It's insane because it's when you know the history and you understand the stories behind this, that's actually such a rude slap in the face to Black America that he even went there to try to pardon him for some shit that what you're doing is highlighting what happened in that story, Donald Trump. You're saying, hey, we don't like black men, rich black men dealing with these white women, and we see that that's the norm today. I want you to know that we remember how they used to be. So we're going to bring this old case up and extend a posthumous pardon to try to pacify y'all. But what we're really doing is letting you know this type of law. Right. Reminding you of your place. Yes.
At
least that's how I feel.
And no, that's your brilliance putting it together. And then at the same time, I, Donald J. Trump, get credit. Love to get the credit for standing by the black man of America.
A fake expression of solidarity that it just simply doesn't exist. That's what that was. It's fake.
Correct.
That's the fake news.
That's the fake news. And this is what we know he loves to proclaim is that he too, like the black man in America, wrongly prosecuted. Y'all come on, tell me y'all putting it together.
Yeah, you see the play. You see the play.
Okay. Holden Court is supported by Prolon. Now, every now and then, we're reminded of those many healthy resolutions that we all make year after year after year. We know them to lose weight, exercise more, and eat better. But a goal without a plan is a plan to fail. Prolon's 5-day program gives you the tools to put your health goals into action with a science-backed plan that makes it easy to stay focused and achieve the real results. Prolon is fasting with food. That's right, it's fasting, but you do get to eat food. It includes snacks, great-tasting soups, and beverages designed to keep your body in a fasting state, and you don't have any guesswork or planning required. Prolon's fasting mimics dieting in a revolutionary plant-based nutrition program that still nourishes the body while making cells believe that they're fasting. Prolong helps support healthy blood sugar, enhanced skin appearance, fat loss, and improved energy and focus post-fast. Listen, to help you kickstart a health plan that works, Prolong is offering Holding Court with Eboni K. Williams listeners 15% off site-wide, plus a $40 bonus gift when you subscribe to their 5-day nutrition program. Don't wait. Visit right now, prolonlife.com/court. That's PROLONLIFE.com/court to claim your 15% discount and your bonus gift. Who doesn't love the good things in life? Now, even though I enjoy a little luxury from time to time, it doesn't mean that I can always easily afford it. Until I discovered Quince. Quince is my go-to for luxury essentials at affordable prices. By partnering directly with the top manufacturers, Quince cuts out the middleman and passes those savings straight on to us. Quince only works with factories that use safe and ethical and responsible manufacturing practices and premium fabrics and finishes. I absolutely love it. I got this beautiful oatmeal-colored cashmere sweater from Quince, and I've worn it everywhere from picking up my daughter Liberty from daycare, running errands, and I might have even worn it on a date. Seriously, give yourself the luxury that you deserve. Go to quince.com/holdingcourt for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/holdingcourt to get free shipping and 365 returns. Quince.com/holdingcourt. So this is the Jack Johnson of it all. Now let's come back to Puff, okay? So Puff is saying, much like Jack, he's saying, I am Jack Johnson and Jack Johnson is me. He's saying Jack Johnson was wrongly persecuted because he had the audacity to be successful in America and engage with the company of ladies. Mm-hmm. And that was demonized, and he was targeted as a black man for doing so. Mm-hmm. Now, let's come back here to Puff, because this to me is where the argument falls apart. Puff's indictment, because I went back to the original indictment this morning, Dustin. Right. Really wanted to get this absolutely right. Mm-hmm. He is not being prosecuted for simply engaging with legal sex workers. Mm-hmm. And there are actual legal escort services and things like that. Not that they exist, okay? And he does, in his defense, say that that was who he was engaging in. The issue is, Dustin, if that was all he was engaging in and that was all that he was being accused of, this would have a lot more leg to it. Right. The problem, Mr. Combs and legal team, is that the DOJ, the same DOJ we've been talking about this whole time, says that they have a long line of mostly women and a handful of men that are not talking about being consenting professional sex workers. That's not who they're lining up to testify against you, sir. Yeah. They're lining up a long line of women who are mostly saying, this man beat me. This man kidnapped me.
Forced me to do drugs.
Make that part. Force fed me. Deceived me, made me intake drugs and alcohol to the point of intoxication. And when you do that, now we're talking about coercion, abuse. Right. You're taking away the ability to consent. See, that's the issue. Jack Johnson was right in his claim that he was being racially targeted because the women, both the one he ended up marrying and even the one they got him on, Belle, known prostitute at work, working girl, literally. Both instances were consensual. So he's being punished for having consensual sex with white women. The crime was the white woman part. That is illegal. Wow. See, that is the wrongdoing that was had against Jack Johnson in 1908, 1913. Fast forward to you, Mr. Combs. No one is prosecuting you. Number one, let's slow down further and get to the white woman part. Because if your claim is that you are being targeted as a black man and it's a racist application of a racist law, show us where all the women are white. Because unless you can try to connect those dots and say that you're being punished for piercing the sanctity of white womanhood, because that's the
Yes.
origin story of the Mann Act. See what I'm doing here, Dustin?
Yes.
You now try to broaden that out to include the multiracial women like Cassie, the Black proximate women like some of the other ones that we know to be named in the document. Ain't nothing in the Mann Act to protect women of color. The fuck are you talking about? So now
You're right.
your argument falls completely apart.
It nullifies it completely. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we all know this country ain't never gave a fuck about no black woman or no woman with one drop of black blood.
That took us, what, 8 minutes to dissect, right? How in the hell does this insanely expensive legal team, right, who has a big job on their hands, but we just broke that down in 7 minutes, 8 minutes, right? Why that does not apply to this case. Why are they moving forward with that when it can be so easily, you can poke a hole in it so easily? Because
a broken clock is right how often a day?
Twice. Yep. So and why not just take the chance?
Yeah, just because why not? Because why not?
That don't make me feel good. If I was in Puffs, if I was Diddy and my team was throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what would stick legally, which essentially you have to do in some way, but not when it comes to strategy. I guess that's what my point is, right? You can have a lot of different options to exercise, right? Yeah. But if our strategy is to hinge our hope on one of those thinly, you know what I mean, linked chances, to me, that's shitty work.
Well, let me play devil's advocate, Dustin. I'm with you intellectually. Again, you go with your genius intellectualism, which I love. but I must remind you, does not universally apply. Let me remind you of that, sir. And that's not to, gas you. That's just to remind you. That's to remind you. Because look at the comment section. Almost every post, even on our page, there is a contingency, and it's not tiny. There is a contingency of fans of black folks and absolutely black men, but very much so black women too, that are all too ready, Dustin Ross, to fall in line with an argument that says this is the illegal and wrong targeting of a black man in America.
And because when you it so often is, that's the problem.
So that's why legally, I am intrigued. Not because the facts support the legal argument. No, you try to do too much right now, Dustin.
Right. Let me zoom out and just play the game a little bit. Yeah.
And in fairness to my brothers and sisters of the law, if we waited for facts to support arguments, we wouldn't be practicing law never. Shit.
Wow.
Honestly, truth be told. Be told.
Let me think about it like that. Damn.
Let me keep it a buck with you right now, my brother. Okay? We often must create arguments, must design arguments, and hope the facts can follow us. Hope enough of the facts can make that make sense to enough. You only need one.
Yep.
You just need one juror to buy what you are selling.
Yep.
And if you get one that's already predisposed, one that already kind of feels a way, and then you can add this and say, well, look, they did it to Jack Johnson and Trump, and then the Trump had to pardon him. Well, that must mean that when black men are prosecuted under this law, it's wrong. So therefore, I must believe. See, that's how it works.
Yep.
That's how it works. So I just want to wrap up with this because I know we're spending a lot of time here, but I thought this was worthy of it. So two main things from this one, y'all. Number one, the argument falls apart for me when Puff says he's being prosecuted only because he's a successful black man in America. Because number one, the white piece is important. The white piece, you had a long line of Lindsay Lohans and Britney Spears, and I'm more inclined to find what we call analogous facts around the historical racial use of this term. But when you have at best, rainbow coalition of women,
okay, I just don't know.
Yeah. And then the other piece, to me, even probably more important, Jack Johnson's, the women that were at issue in his prosecution were absolutely known consensual women, either sex workers or girlfriends of his. So the notion of consent was not in question. And even the DOJ didn't pretend it was in question.
That's very different in Puff's case.
Very opening line of the indictment, Dustin, that Mr. Combs abused, threatened, coerced, reads further, kidnapped, forced labor, and don't forget arson. Don't forget them spraying them
car.
cars up in there.
Yep.
Yeah. So again, sir, you're trying to conflate certain facts and ignore major facts that don't make this apply to you in the same way. In fact, Puff's legal team had the audacity, Dustin, to say that, this is all wrongdoing because, like I said, first line, similar acts go unpunished. Okay. And then this is rich. Puff's legal team says couples routinely involve third parties in their sexual relationships. Another way of saying they're trying to persecute Mr. Combs because he enjoys threesomes. Knock it off.
That's not what's going on.
That's literally not what's going on. No one cares about Mr. Combs and threesomes and foursomes and 15-person orgies. That is not what anybody is talking about here.
And no judge is going to hear that and say, oh, yeah, that is a point. No,
Yeah,
they're not
no.
going to hear that. Not with the evidence that's stacked up against
Correct.
Diddy right
But
now.
the
Like, come on,
allegations
bro.
are not about third-party sex partners.
No.
The evidence is about kidnapping, drugging, raping, abusing. Let's be fucking clear.
I'd be pissed. To me, that's lazy. And not only is it lazy, to me, it's just weak. It's a weak argument. And as a person whose life is on the line, whose life is hanging in the balance, I'd be pissed.
Yeah.
Come with something better than that.
It's over here. I know my shot is kind of tight, but like, in Wolf of Wall Street, Matthew McConaughey, like, the lawyer's door. Look over here. Look over here. Look over here. Don't worry about this over here, the actual shit. Just look over here real quick. That's the play.
Okay.
So this is it. And also, last point, several white men, Mr. Combs and legal team, have been prosecuted under the Mann Act. I just thought this was fun fact and trivia. A white man named Tony Alamo, and these are the high profile white men. Hundreds of white men have been prosecuted under the Mann Act. Just know that, jurors. But the high profile ones, there was some Pentecostal pastor, Tony Alamo, in 2008. Also a mega church Baptist pastor, white guy, Jack Schnapp, in 2012. And also the kidnapper and abuser of Elizabeth Smart. Remember that blonde one?
Yes.
That was one of the many charges against her perpetrator, Brian David Mitchell, who was prosecuted for many things, including the Mann Act in 2010. And low-key, this was shell as hell. They actually tried to get Charlie Chaplin on this shit.
Get out of here.
I swear to God. They came for Charlie Chaplin, 1944. He was prosecuted under the Mann Act. However, he was acquitted by a jury. So,
Wow.
so again, Dustin, to your point of the thinness of, don't come in my courtroom. God, they better be glad they ain't in Judge Ebony's court. Don't come up in my courtroom, sir, claiming to be the Emmett Till of the moment and say that no white men have been subject to this level of legal scrutiny when I just gave you 5 off the top of my head.
Yeah.
And Charlie Chaplin got to be one of the whitest men in American history.
That I've personally ever seen in my life. You know what I mean? Like with the moves and everything. I just white. So yes. Wow. Okay, Ebony, I did not know that. I'm very interested to look that Charlie Chaplin shit up though, because I would like to know the inner
the
workings
nature of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was lengthy. That was deep. But that was, y'all, is a lot going on. And don't forget the Trump pardon piece, and that being a clear wink to the current moment and Trump's current position. Because this is also an invitation by Puff and his legal team to draw in Trump's attention. You better know that. Y'all better know that. And if you weren't thinking about giving me one of these Eric Adams specials before, one
Think
of these
about it now.
specials before, please, Mr. President, consider it now. Consider me another opportunity for you to add on to a false alignment with black men of America. The only difference is Trump don't need no black men votes no more, so I don't know what the incentive would be.
He don't need nothing from our ass no more. That's the problem. So anyway, that triggers me. So let's just move on.
Yeah, we're gonna move on. We're
Yeah.
gonna move on to some good news. Holden Court is supported by Prolon. Now, every now and then, we're reminded of those many healthy resolutions that we all make year after year after year. We know them: to lose weight, exercise more, and eat better. But a goal without a plan is a plan to fail. Prolon's 5-day program gives you the tools to put your health goals into action with a science-backed plan that makes it easy to stay focused and achieve the real results. Prolon is fasting with food. That's right, it's fasting, but you do get to eat food. It includes snacks, great tasting soups, and beverages designed to keep your body in a fasting state, and you don't have any guesswork or planning required. Prolon's fasting mimics dieting in a revolutionary plant-based nutrition program that still nourishes the body while making cells believe that they're fasting. Prolon helps support healthy blood sugar, enhanced skin appearance, fat loss, and improved energy and focus post-fast. Listen, to help you kickstart a health plan that works, Prolon is offering Holding Court with Eboni K. Williams listeners 15% off site-wide, plus a $40 bonus gift when you subscribe to their 5-day nutrition program. Don't wait. Visit right now, prolonlife.com/court. That's PROLONLIFE.com/court to claim your 15% discount and your bonus gift. Who doesn't love the good things in life? Now, even though I enjoy a little luxury from time to time, it doesn't mean that I can always easily afford it. Until I discovered Quince. Quince is my go-to for luxury essentials at affordable prices. By partnering directly with the top manufacturers, Quince cuts out the middleman and passes those savings straight on to us. Quince only works with factories that use safe and ethical and responsible manufacturing practices and premium fabrics and finishes. I absolutely love it. I got this beautiful oatmeal-colored cashmere sweater from Quince, and I've worn it everywhere from picking up my daughter Liberty from daycare, running errands, and I might have even worn it on a date. Seriously, give yourself the luxury that you deserve. Go to quince.com/holdingcourt for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/holdingcourt to get free shipping and 365 returns. Quince.com/holdingcourt.
Okay.
A family of celebration.
Yes.
And a family intact and whole. A$AP Rocky, y'all have all seen by now, has been acquitted of all charges.
That's right.
Against former friend and collaborator A$AP Rocky. They just didn't buy it, y'all. They absolutely did not believe that A$AP Rocky had an actual firearm that was actually responsible for the grazing and injury to Relly. There were no shell cases that were collected. There was no consistent or credible eyewitnesses. There was no recovery of the weapon. You know, it just was a paper thin case. I was kind of surprised the prosecutors went forward with it. I didn't mention this last time we covered it, Dustin. The prosecutors offered him a 6-month plea deal, which 6 months off of what he was actually, I think statutorily he was facing 24 years, which is crazy. But the prosecutors were asking for an 8-year sentence if he had been convicted. So that's still, I mean, if I'm Rihanna, I'm going to be honest with you, because she was pregnant when these charges, I believe she was pregnant, or at least when I kind of put them together with being charged and looking at a real felony conviction potentially, and she was pregnant with the second baby. I was pregnant at the same time, or maybe I just got, either way, I was very triggered, Dustin. I was very triggered in the sense of I know how vulnerable I feel right now as a pregnant woman. And I can only imagine how absolutely vulnerable, fragile, deathly afraid I would feel knowing I was carrying a life inside of me, and that the man I love and father of this child and my other living child could be going away for a long time.
Yeah, that's a harrowing thought, right?
Yeah, and that was the lens, honestly, D, that I was looking at this whole thing through. Like, I was not thinking about anybody but Rihanna and those two boys.
Yeah.
Not that that's indicative of guilt or innocence, but I'm just looking at a book like that. So fast forward, he's acquitted. He rejected the 6-month plea deal, and good for him and good on their family for being willing to, I'm not going to say trust the system, because I doubt it was about that, but maybe trust their God. You know, Rihanna, we saw, came out immediately and put social post up that this is all credit to God. They trusted the process. They trusted their faith, their Lord, and there was an acquittal here. So this man is brought back home with his family. And I'm going to tell you when I knew it was extraordinarily real, Dustin, is when I saw Rihanna take them 2 babies up in that court for them closing.
What? I knew that message was loud and clear to me when I saw her bring those babies, into that courtroom. The fact that Rihanna was even there, though, I think represents, you know what I mean? Her showing up like that for the trial, it just represented that this was serious business for them.
Very serious.
I'm glad to see it successful.
Because unlike most babies we see in court, because they ain't got no babysitting money, Rihanna ain't got that problem.
No,
Rihanna ain't got that problem.
That was a choice. Yeah, it wasn't.
That was a strong-ass choice.
Yeah, that was a choice. So good for them, though. Good news during Black History Month. It's good to see a win, and they can put that behind them, raise their beautiful family, continue to be successful. You know, I never really liked them as a couple, but it is what it is. They have kids.
Tell me more.
I just always felt like he just skewed a little immature compared to what she represents. He looks younger than men that she's typically dated and been in a relationship with, or we've seen her with. He lacks a bit of the powerful essence that a lot of the men that we've seen her or imagine her to be with.
Help me out. And this is not me being anything other than really real. Who are these men you talking about? Because I know you know about Chris Brown.
Think about it. Not Chris Brown. You have Matt Kemp that played for the Dodgers. Remember when they were together? His presence was commanding.
In LA. I never bought that relationship.
The Matt Kemp and Rihanna one?
No, I believe they were together, but I believe that was Rihanna and probably a team of some sort. Even your best girlfriends could be part of your team, right? Just saying, girl, we need to go in a different fucking direction. After this absolute bullshit with this fool Chris and this and that, and you out here looking crazy, and now y'all doing duets and shit. It's just looking all fucked up, and let's step it up. And I don't know that her heart was in it.
I don't believe it was, but I believe that that's what we liked about Rihanna, right? Was her being the type of powerful woman who was beautiful and had a lot of options when it came to men. And her not having, she didn't have to give a damn and have her heart in it. She dated casually and to have fun, you know?
Yes.
She's a mom. They have kids together. So I think it's a little bit different now, much different.
I think this is what she's really attracted to is the point I'm making. I hear what you're saying.
I never saw them as evenly yoked or as
they're
people
not.
who.
Dustin, 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 let me pull you up on the big screen. This little small end screen shit ain't gonna work for this conversation because we got to talk grown. Here's what I know for sure about a lot of my fellow Black women, and I'm not a billionaire and I'm not Rihanna, but I know just a little bit about being a Black woman who is even perceived as higher earning, higher positioned in the societal order, and all those things you're naming, sophisticated, just empowered at the highest level in her case, right? Quiet is kept. Those women rarely are most sexually and kind of viscerally attracted to men that mirror that. It's almost as if, you know, like a receptacle, like a plug, you know, almost like it's almost like those two things in equal capacity as you're suggesting. It's almost as if they repel one another.
I can understand
and I'm speaking on the opposite end of it because I am one of those women who I think is probably the minority that much prefer viscerally, sexually, emotionally, intellectually. I prefer a man of equal capacity. I truly do. And if you have superior capacity, even better. And I don't give a fuck who feel a way about it.
Yeah.
Okay. And also what I know is that is typically unattractive and unappealing to those men.
Got it.
So I'm gonna leave it there today for the ministry.
Look, I'm happy for them, right?
Yeah, I know
and
you
I'm happy that this worked out.
This was worth us doing this though, because I'm always curious to know what you think when you see pairings.
Yeah.
But I feel you. And I think a lot of us were like, that's an interesting choice. But the longer she stays with it, the more I see, and I'm not even joking. When I saw her bring those babies to their courtroom, Dustin, I said, this ain't just rocks off or proving a point or we like to kick it and smoke blunts together. This ain't
Right.
none. This is spiritual. This is
Okay.
like her fucking person.
Okay. Wow. Well, we gotta accept it because it ain't our
Yeah,
business
correct.
no damn way. So look, she
Listen.
like it. I love it.
We gotta love it. So to your point, they will go on. He's doing, is it rolling some shit in California?
Rolling Loud, and he also Spike Lee. After the verdict was read that he was acquitted, Spike Lee posted that he has a movie coming out. I can't remember who else is in the film, but A$AP Rocky is leading a new Spike Lee film that's coming out.
Yeah.
So you know,
he'll be he's one of the co-hosts
oh,
of
Met Gala
too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll be seeing them. Yeah. You know, that's got to be real nerve-wracking when, you know, you got a bunch of good shit lined up after
And
this.
something like
this
this,
verdict,
yeah.
right? This verdict need to go a certain way.
Way for real. They was on pins and needles. So
Yes, sir.
I'm
Yes,
glad
sir.
to see. I was happy to see that though, because at the end of the day, you know, I want the black people to win. So
Yes.
I was happy to see him be acquitted for sure.
Now, do keep in mind, jurors, the civil case is still outstanding. I would be remiss not to note that. Really probably don't get a couple of dollars, but not much. And then this will totally be over after that.
Yeah.
Okay, wrapping up, we're going to spend 2 seconds on this fool, Eric Adams. Many of y'all were tagging Dustin and myself after last week's episode because we created space for the possibility of what if it truly happened, which was that intermediate prosecutor and then 6 other prosecutors said, get somebody else to motherfucking do it.
Yeah.
Said, I am absolutely not going to put this on my permanent record. I am a credible member of the Bar Association. I am a lifetime prosecutor. I actually do this shit for real. For real. Justice, facts, truth matter to me. I don't know what the fuck y'all over here talking about with this bullshit ass political back and forth.
Come on, Ebony. Yes.
But get somebody else to fucking do it. And so that's why, y'all, we have seen 7 prosecutors just in a week resign from this position because they simply refuse to
be attached to it. Yeah.
To be attached to it, to execute what they feel is a politically corrupt ask of this current Department of Justice, this same DOJ we've been talking about all episode, and they just not gonna do it. So now what happens? So now 2 things are happening. Number 1, there is a judge right now, y'all, a federal judge, who is literally calling these people into his courtroom, to their courtroom. They're asking, I think Eric Adams had to go in late yesterday and speak. The prosecutors from the DOJ, the big DOJ are having to speak, and the prosecutors that have chosen to resign.
Yep.
So the judge is saying, what the fuck is actually going on? What is going on? I need to know all the information because ultimately, keep in mind, jurors, it will be the judge that will be the hand and the ink that signed the dismissal order if it is indeed done. So the judge is saying, before my name is on this permanent record, before my entire legacy, entire career is
sullied.
Sullied, stigmatized, derailed, whatever.
Yeah.
Let me be real clear about the who, what, when, how, and why.
I'm getting nervous.
Look at you. I know you getting nervous because you're doing it chest scratch.
That chair, you know, you get a certain station in life. You scratch right here when things go down.
You feeling it, as Bill Bellamy would say, you feeling it in your spirit?
I'm feeling it in my spirit because, Ebony, like, these people are defying, they are becoming more and more emboldened and embracing, like more brazen and bold with their disregard for law standards, for just decency. Integrity, decency, period. Decency, you know,
human decency. No, it's crazy, but I think if we want to look at it through any type of positive lens, good on 7 people saying, not me, not today. I think that does mean something, because if you remember my kind of crystal ball prediction, I said it's very possible that the Madam Prosecutor could say, get somebody else to do it, but I didn't really think she had it in her. And that wasn't personal. I don't know this particular lady. Shout out to you, Prosecutor Sassoon. I just didn't necessarily have a high expectation that in this political climate, Dustin, you still have some good soldiers out here.
Yeah, thankfully we see that. Thankfully
So that's
people
what I'm
are
saying. See,
showing
that's worth noting.
themselves.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
worth us saying, hey, as fucked up as it is, and it absolutely is. There are still some good soldiers out here that really are still not willing to go over that particular threshold. So we'll see. Now, last question here, Kathy Hochul, governor of New York. She is the only other person that can really impact this scenario because she does have the authority, the political authority in her case, to remove Eric Adams from office. But she would have to come to a finding, Dustin, that he is incapable of executing the role of mayor of New York City. If she comes to that conclusion, she actually then is duty bound to remove him from office. Let's be clear. So what is she doing? She's going on a listening tour. She's, checking the pulse of everything. Just so y'all know, AP polling, 2/3 of New York City voters are with Brother Dustin Ross here. They ready for this Negro to go. They're saying, Eric Adams, go, and we want Kathy Hochul to remove you.
Yeah.
They actually want that. That's where 2/3 of the population is right now.
Yeah, we're tired of it. And his clear allegiance to Donald Trump, his cronies, and all the madness that they have going on and the uprooting of our democracy, he's got to go. We have to start attacking that beast at whatever levels we can. Here's an entry point for us. I know it's an uphill climb. It's not easy to remove a sitting mayor from office like that. But
Correct.
We'll see. Come on, Kathy.
Listen, we're going to see. This to me, this is where the politics, Dustin, are loud and in charge. We'll see, because what if Kathy Hochul was to remove Eric Adams, she would make an immediate and very aggressive enemy of Donald Trump.
For sure.
Now, and it's already not a good situation. Y'all know he calling himself the king because he done stopped this congestion pricing, which I think was nothing more, by the way, because he don't give a fuck about New Yorkers or our pockets. This was nothing more than him giving a preemptive strike to Kathy Hochul and saying, bitch, watch it now. Bitch, watch it now and be real careful, because this is what I can do with the stroke of a pen.
That's his way. Everybody's not going to lie down and take that like Eric Adams is doing. Everybody's not going to do that. You know what I mean? He that's his way to try to strong arm, his way.
So we're going to see what Governor Kathy do. We're going to see. What you think she going to do?
Nothing. I don't. I think Kathy got a lot going on. I think that she will show herself as a, you make me laugh when you bust out laughing.
You. It sounded like my old black grandma. I can't talk about nothing.
Nothing. I think she's going to show herself as a person who is obviously, as she has already, in opposition to Donald Trump's policies and all of his violence toward the American people. But I don't think that we will see Eric Adams removed from office at the behest of Kathy Hochul. I don't.
Yeah. I don't think so either. And I think a lot of it is also, I mean, number one, she's not going to get, I think she's term limited out. I'm pretty sure. And number two, I don't think she want to look like the white woman that took the black man out of office. I really do think that's a big part of it. We've only had 2 black mayors ever. Shout out to Brother David Dinkins. And now we've got this one.
One and a half.
Listen, that's how I feel about Clarence Thomas, but that's another conversation for another. I think Kathy Hochul is being advised that would be a political death sentence for her. In addition to the Trump disaster, just you will forever be known. When the history books are written, they will forget about what Eric did. They will forget about what Trump did. And you will be the entitled white woman that removed the second duly elected black man from office as mayor of New York City. And I think that is a political weight that she is not designed to carry. I agree. And she's got other plans, right? Which we already know. So correct. She don't need that. I get it. Well, baby. Well, this was one for the books.
Yes, it was.
I just want to thank you.
I'm just happy to be here,
Me too.
And I'm happy that we have this vehicle to keep people informed during times when they really need factual information that they can count on, delivered from people that they trust. And we know you built that.
And then
that's right. And by then we mean Donald Trump's comb over. thin.
You know what? Okay.
That's the only thing thin on the motherfucker. I have never
showing
seen
their
a more
waistline.
deft and portly man in my life. I've never seen one.
Portly is the
Never.
exact right. And do you know how portly you have to be tall and portly?
I mean, that's a radius for your ass. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? I have never seen a circumference. So I've just never seen a man as buoyant. I've just never seen it in my life. So here we are. But yes, Ebony.
Jurors. Come back again next week.
That's
Court
right.
will be back in session. In the
That's right.
meantime, stay safe, keep bundled. It's frigid out. It's brick, as
Yeah.
we say in some parts of the country. And Dustin, what would you like the people to do?
Check your terms and your conditions, please. There's never been a more pressing time to do so. So
Actually,
check your
very
terms
true.
and conditions. Read them right now.
Yeah.
Read as much as you can. Read, y'all.
Yeah.
You have to.
Don't sign nothing.
Nothing.
Too quick these days.
Nothing. All right.
Holding Court is produced by Uppity Productions. Host and executive producers here, Ebony K. Williams, yours truly, and the Dustin Ross. Executive producer in Dossie, McCraw. Our senior producer, Ashley Hobbs. Follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and any and everywhere you get your podcast.